People are leaving Florida.
But now he's preparing to put his Florida house on the market and move back north.
We have political issues in Florida that are just ugly. We have costs skyrocketing.
Florida has been among the fastest growing states in the nation since the start of the pandemic.
In fact, 511,000 people left in Florida just in 2024, according to Florida migration trends. The very folks that flocked to Florida for cheap living, sunshine, palm trees, and margaritas are now packing up their bags and leaving for the hills and the plains. And to be specific, they are leaving for Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and other states. But why are so many people getting the flock out of the Sunshine State, you ask? Well, today I will break down why Floridians may be in trouble and why many homeowners are blindsided and considering leaving Florida altogether. Some want to stay but cannot afford to stay. Some want to stay and remodel. Some want to leave Florida but they cannot afford to sell their homes. And some want to stay in Florida but they cannot keep up with the insurances and the taxes and the high cost of maintenance and remodeling. One of the main reasons why many people are moving out of Florida is because of the extreme weather conditions, the hurricanes, the lightning. And as you know, there are so many frequent storms out there, especially in the recent months, that they have driven up cost of everything in Florida. Talking about insurance cost, maintenance cost, remodeling cost, and even your general living cost. So people are rethinking what they should do or what they should not do. If you look at Florida, homeowners will face a projected 40% increase in property insurance rates. And according to Insurify, the most expensive state for home insurance in 2024 was Florida. Because of all the hurricanes and the disasters, the insurance has skyrocketed, and that's biting a big chunk out of the regular homeowners in Florida. Furthermore, after all these years of insurance, the claiming system is not good at all. A lot of people still have not gotten paid, and they are still out on the roads with their homes not fixed or their life not back to normal. Claims is a big issue as well. Talking about the extreme weather conditions, Florida has 56 inches of rain annually. There are 1.2 million lightning strikes annually. This is the most in USA per square mile. And frequent flooding risk due to flat terrain. So the flooding doesn't only happen on the coastal side, but it also affects some of the inland cities. There is a big net migration into Florida, and especially in the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of people have moved into Florida from California and Chicago and Washington and other states, and they're not used to these kind of extreme weathers, and some of them are leaving. The second reason why Floridians are leaving is because of the legal system and the claim system, and also the insurance lawsuits. Florida accounts for 79% of all insurance lawsuits in the United States, and only 21% account for other states combined, which is a big problem, and which means only one thing: the insurance cost has gone up, the legal cost has gone up, and it is still increasing by the day as more and more of these claims and insurance policies and claims are pending. And there's a big delay in the legal system as well. Some homeowners have seen their insurance bills jump from $3,800 a year to $9,000 per year. One homeowner's insurance increased from $500 to $19,000 per year. Guess what? She left Florida for good. I don't blame her. I would have done the same thing. Let us know about how you feel about Florida. And also, while you're watching this video, and I do appreciate it, please subscribe. I'm Mike Patel, by the way, and thanks for watching. The next reason Floridians are fed up and moving out is because the statewide impact of the hurricanes for all the people, not just the people who live in the coast or the coastal areas, when it comes to repair, maintenance, and disaster and life-threatening situations, but also because of the skyrocketing insurance cost. So yes, hurricanes affect the people on the coast, but when a storm comes in, all the winds, the hurricanes or the tornadoes affect the homeowners. It puts their life on hold for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It takes time away when they're into preparation, even though they're inland, because there are warning sound, not only just for the coastal areas, but also the indoor areas. And furthermore, the insurance, more people are affected on the coastal side, but the insurance companies raises the cost for everybody, the people in the mid states and the people on the coastal states. Citizens Insurance, the state's largest provider, is now charging and increasing rates at a tremendous rate, and that's affecting a typical homeowner. They require additional flood insurance even though you're not in the coastal areas. So that's an additional expense that they did not have before to the people living in the mid states, and they're fed up with it. The other reasons for higher expenses and deterioration in the lifestyle is because now insurance is mandatory in all the areas and not just the coastal areas. When you buy a house, you have to get a loan, and these lenders require to get flood insurance. Just like in California, when we buy a house through a mortgage, the mortgage companies require us to get fire insurance. We have to get it, and the coverage is for the inside and outside typically. So what happens is, even though I'm not in a flood area or even though I'm not in a fire zone area, I have to end up paying for it and buying this. And these insurance, as I mentioned earlier many times, have skyrocketed. So my payment has gone up. And if my payment was not there 5 years ago, now all of a sudden I'm paying insurance. So I may have an additional 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 or up to 5,000 per year in insurance cost, which I did not have before. And that makes me think, should I stay or should I leave? And if you're a cash buyer and you don't have to get insurance, you may want to reconsider whether you should get insurance or not, because what if there is a hurricane, or if you have roof damage or any kind of damage and you don't have insurance? These costs today could skyrocket. Kitchen or roof alone will cost you $40,000, $50,000. So any cost that you incur, and if you don't have insurance, be prepared for extremely high cost. Florida's rising risks make insurance essential yet unaffordable for many homeowners and renters. If you are considering moving and want to know what's happening in your local neighborhood or what's the potential cost coming up, you may want to talk to a local realtor. Direct message me and I'll refer you to an agent who's up to date on these trends and who can talk to you. So I'll put the link in the comments below. The next reason, and this is a very important reason why a lot of the homeowners and home sellers are fed up, is because what happened to the homeowners association, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, as the insurance costs go up, as the maintenance cost goes up for the insurance companies, guess what they do? They pass on those homeowners insurance to the homeowners individually, and that's another skyrocketing cost that is unexpected and digging into their pockets. These days, the other issue that's going along with the high cost of homeowners association of insurance is also the skyrocketing reassessment fees that came out of nowhere. As you recall, a few years ago, the Champlain Towers fell and there was a big disaster with it, and that created this bill. It's called the bill SB4D. SB4D was enacted into law after the deadly collapse of Champlain Towers South in Surfside that killed 98 people in 2021. Engineering reports found that the building was unsafe and needed several $1 million worth of repairs, but the board, fearful of the impact of a special assessment, failed to undertake the repairs before the building collapsed. Because of this new bill, which came because of the tower's collapse, a lot of the association, a lot of the condo complexes, especially the older ones and the complexes or the towers that are over 3 stories, have had reassessments. And we're talking about 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 per condo owner. So they have to come out with this cash up front. And a lot of these homeowners have been there for 20 years on fixed income, especially if they're seniors. They don't have that kind of money to dish out and pay the reassessment fees. And that's not the end of it. There may be more coming up. So now they're thinking, should I sell or should I go? In fact, a lot of them have already put up their condos for sale. But guess what? The Florida condo market is at a standstill because one, the HOA has gone sky high. A lot of these condo has reassessment fees. And when the seller says, let the buyers pay, the buyers are not buying those. And because of the high insurance and high HOA, and HOA has gone from 300 to 3,000 or from 1,000 to 5,000 per month because of this disaster, a lot of the buyers cannot qualify. So a lot of the sellers, as I mentioned earlier, who want to sell, but can't afford to sell is because they can't afford to buy another house because they can't sell this house because of the HOA and the high insurance cost. So there's a big dilemma being faced today and more dilemma that's coming up ahead. We don't even know about it yet. The next big factor that's affecting a lot of homeowners and home buyers are the new property taxes. As you know, nationwide, property has gone up pretty high in a lot of states, especially in Florida. They've gone up and up and up. And because as the prices go up, your property taxes go up. So if I'm a homeowner and trying to sell my house, I might have a grandfather tax, property tax. Let's say I bought a house in Florida 10 years ago and my house is worth $400,000. So obviously I'm paying property tax based on that $400,000 assessed value. But if I sell that house to a young millennial or younger couple, they may scratch their head and say, wait a minute, if I pay for this house for $800,000, which home prices have jumped anywhere from $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on average, then my property tax is almost double what I am paying now, which makes higher property taxes, which makes them not afford the home or reconsider buying your house. So if you look at these charts, here's a look from Zillow. In 2020, the average home price in the Miami area was $382,000. So if somebody bought a house in Florida in 2020, their property tax was based on $382,000. But if that house sold today, that value of that house, according to Zillow, on 2025 March, that value is $656,000. So if I'm selling that house now, the buyer is going to pay almost double in property taxes. So this is a dilemma, and a lot of the sellers cannot sell their home and they're stuck in their house because the buyers are having a hard time. And there is a slowdown in the housing market in Florida because of the huge inventory and the high rates of property tax, insurance, association fees, and the repair cost for remodeling have made the housing slow down. At the same time, that's one of the reasons people want to move out, because how low is the housing prices going to go down in the next 3 or 4 years? So is it better to sell now or is it better to wait? And that's why we saw 511,000 people move out of Florida for the first time, such a big number in 2024. Buyers are now having second thoughts of coming over, and that is also another reason people are moving back to where they came from to be with family and friends and not deal with all this mess in Florida. The other reason of the mass exodus is the double whammy in Florida. And what is that? That is the combined cost of your property taxes and your insurance. So when you buy a house and if you have a loan on it, you have the PITI. So when you have a mortgage, you have principal, interest, tax, and insurance. And usually, if you have a fixed mortgage rate, your principal and interest is your fixed payment. But what has been happening, especially in the last 3 to 4 years, is your taxes and insurance has skyrocketed. So if I bought my house 10 years ago, and let's say my payment was $2,000 a month, PITI, and now in the last 2, 3, 4 years, the property tax is creeping up, the insurance is creeping up, so my payment may be $3,000 now. At the same time, if I have an association and a lot of homes in Florida, especially if you're in a townhouse or a new community or newer house, you have association fees, they have creeped up. So all of a sudden your PITI of 2,000 could be 3,000 or 3,500. Then you add HOA on top, which is another from 300 going to 500 or 600 or 1,000 a month. So your payment has gone up. On top of all that, your food cost has gone up, your daily living has gone up, your updating has gone up. So all of a sudden, a typical homeowner in Florida is in trouble as far as payment goes, because a lot of these, especially seniors, may be on fixed income or are on fixed income. And now you're going from a 2,000 a month payment to almost 3, 4, 5,000 a month payment. And that's a no-no, especially if those fixed income people who came for the sunshine and now they have to leave and give up that sunshine. The other reason a lot of Floridians are moving out is because of the overcrowding and the strain on the structure or the drain on the structure. Florida has had a rapid growth. In the last 10 years, it has grown rapidly. Home prices have gone up. Population has gone up overall. So what that means is if you go to a restaurant, if you go shopping or anywhere you go, there are longer wait times than before. It's no longer relax, let's go to a restaurant. You might have to go to a nice restaurant and you might have to wait for half an hour. So the quality of your life has gone down because of the overcrowding, of the overpopulation. The other thing is the traffic on the streets and on the freeway and even at the airports is not what it used to be. There's a lot of congestion. Freeways are packed in the morning when you go to Miami or when you go to Jacksonville or when you go to Tampa. On the way to the metro areas, there's congestion all the time. It's a havoc going from home to work and work to home. So overall, there has been a reduced in the quality of the life, quality of Floridians. Congestion, weather, expenses, and low services when you go shopping or restaurants or entertainment or anywhere you go. Overcrowding brings you these things. And a lot of people said, no, we're out of here. The 10th reason of the exit migration in Florida is due to the high cost of auto insurance. We all have cars, maybe 2, 3, 4 cars in a household. And when insurance cost goes up on every car, that takes a big bite out of your expenses or that increases your income quite heavily. In fact, Florida is the one of the highest states or the most expensive states when it comes to auto insurance. It is driving Floridians crazy. Soaring auto insurance rates roil local drivers. What has driven this auto insurance cost so high? Well, there's several reasons. There are a lot of seniors, a lot of retirees in Florida. And guess what? They drive slow, nice and easy. At the same time, we've had an influx of a lot of younger generations and the working class or the working people who has to go to work and they don't drive at the speed of the seniors and retirees, and that's causing quite a few accidents and collisions. There are also a lot of flooded cars in the hurricane. A lot of them get flooded, and you have insurance costs that the insurance people have to pay out. And also the vehicle theft has gone up skyrocketing. So when you have all these three things happening, guess what the insurance people do? As the claims increases on auto and as the insurance pays out more and more claims, they're going to stick that cost to you. So because of the claims and the thefts and the flood damage and the accidents that are happening, insurance costs are going up and up and up, and they're not coming down along with your HOA and your principal and your interest and your taxes and your insurance for homes. I read a few weeks back. It's titled Why Everyone is Thinking of Fleeing Florida as Fast as They Can. Please watch it at the end of this video. Facts are facts. Many are rethinking that their move to Florida due to rising cost. Many have already moved out. They are exploring alternative states, and many, like people from California, want to go back. They miss their weather, they miss their families, and if such lifestyle is changing in Florida, they're moving back to where they came from. And the biggest factor people are moving out of Florida is the cost. They are finding places to move to, alternative states, alternative cities, and moving to place that is much cheaper than what's happening in Florida. Florida is in trouble. Florida's rising costs are blindsiding home sellers and homeowners. Insurance, property taxes, and weathers are major concerns. Many people are finally choosing to vacate Florida rather than live there full time. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Patel. Please subscribe if you found this video helpful or please share it.